Welcome to CCRPG, where we open up our virtual table and play games with some good friends. I'm Bob, and I'll be running Lancer, an RPG by Miguel Lopez and Tom Parkinson-Morgan. You can find it on itch.io. Previously, the DBC crew, under their assumed identity as the Murder of Crows, competed in the first part of Contest. Having done fairly well, they placed third in the public ranking. But with only 3 Rebirth project contracts available, this leaves them dangerously on the cusp. It appears the other competitors mean business. The groups were told to get some rest, and that they'd be informed of an upcoming gathering they are expected to attend with the other candidates and committee members. Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Yo.
Hello.
How are our pilots doing?
Good.
Pretty
good.
Ready for a party.
Always ready for a party.
It has been, about half a day since the rankings were announced. So it's like the end of that same day. What have you all been doing in that time? Have you just gone back to your rooms to rest? Are you, speaking with anyone? Like, where are the pilots?
Astro's basically back in his room, taking time to rest, recover, get ready for the big social event.
I'm
trying
just
on
giving,
different outfits, as is his way.
How many outfits did you bring?
Well, I mean, he bought them specifically for this mission, so all of them.
Yeah, he has a whole new wardrobe for this persona. None of these clothes overlap with the normal Astro Jamin wardrobe. So
I was about to say, yeah, you have a whole new persona. You can't wear Astro Jamin clothes anymore.
Exactly.
You forget that he had Ren's credit card.
That's right.
Oh no.
He did some shopping. Back on AO station.
Are they all just turtleneck sweaters?
Yeah, he's going for the Steve Jobs look.
You missed the clothes ship that was following behind the DBC on this entire mission. Just an entire ship full of clothes that Astro bought. Couldn't fit them in the DBC.
He had to rent out an entire spaceship for his luggage.
The amount you bought, they probably included shipping.
I'm sorry, did you mean to buy a ship or shipping?
Yeah.
Evelene is just giving the mechs another tune-up just to make sure they're ready in case it's one of those things where, like, immediately after the mixer, they're like, okay, get in your mechs. We're ready to go.
Always be prepared. Good.
And what about Steve?
I can't think of anything to do to prep, so I'll probably just wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoever is in the residence right now, there is a notification that comes on like your residence's wall communicator.
Okay. I'll probably be the first to see it, so I'll take a look.
Okay. It is a message stating that in 30-ish minutes, there will be an announcement that will play for all teams and to assemble your teams so that you can all watch the announcement together.
Okay. Assume Eveline's in the garage working on the mech, so I'll...
It's implied, by the way, the announcement would be a video message. So basically, it's asking you to basically assemble everyone here.
Like in our residences?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, like
okay.
It's basically... It's like one of those things you get that's an appointment for like a video conference. It's like in 30 minutes, you're all scheduled to be at a video conference. And in the notes, it's just like assemble your teams.
Right. So yeah, I'll radio Evelene and I'll say, Evelene, need everyone to gather in the residence in 30 minutes. there's going to be an announcement that we need to be present for.
All right, I'll head over in 29 minutes.
Make it just, a little earlier if you don't mind.
29 minutes
right.
or 28 minutes, 55 seconds.
I'm coming up right now. I'm just being a smartass.
Is Dyne around?
Yes.
Oh, there you are.
Yes, says Dyne.
Dyne.
Who's standing right behind Astro?
You were there the whole time.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
No,
Classic
I'm not.
All right.
All right. I imagine if Curry wasn't already down at the the equipment bay and hangar, that is where he will go, since he doesn't need to be here for this. But you eventually assemble in the residence, and yeah, I mean, is there anything you guys want to go over, or you just wait for the call to come in?
I'll just chit chat with Evelene about how her, her tuning up is going along. She's making any special preparations for the next event, etc., etc. Nothing specific.
Yeah, and maybe I'll mention, I don't know, Artemis is giving suggestions, and they seem to be making Dyne's mech more and more explosive. And I'm like, maybe we should talk to Dyne before we make these changes? And she's like, no, it's cool. He said it was cool.
The day will come when a reckoning occurs. And Artemis, Artemis takes control.
Artemis is going to be the final boss, no doubt about it.
What are you two talking about?
Just our impending doom.
Okay.
The final boss of the contest is actually Artemis. She's been planning it all along.
Yep.
Well, as you guys amicably joke about the emergence of a possible rampant AI, the screen eventually logs you in to the video conference. It is a broadcast. It's one way that you are getting from kind of the command center of contest, back from the entertainment module. Taking the screen in front of you is Losamar. She comes up to the camera, she adjusts her tie and collar and waves awkwardly at the camera and goes, "Hello, teams. I am just getting in touch with you because we have determined when our little soiree is being put together. Just so you know, in attendance will be you, all of the teams, including every member of your teams. You will also be in attendance with the committee members themselves, and we're inviting many of the heads and subheads of the contracting groups that we are working with from Project Rebirth. Part of the goal here is to see how well you..." And then the transmission cuts out.
Hey. Tap the screen a couple times.
The screen begins to fuzz, and static takes over the screen.
The hell?
Another image starts to resolve over the image that you were getting. A voice comes over the transmission, garbled by static at first, but then resolves into a clear message. An image is shown on the screen while the voice speaks. It is a video of a protest on a crowded street turning violent as security attempts to disperse a crowd. In the corner of the video, there is a symbol of a planet with a raised hand emblazoned on it. The voice speaks. "We are Oath. We are the people of Batuska. We are under siege by empty suits waving the flag of progress while they sweep their past mistakes under the carpet." The video shifts to scenes of people in security uniforms knocking on doors and escorting people out of buildings at gunpoint. It wasn't enough that they used and abandoned our families oh so long ago to live and rot and struggle. No, they had to come back. The places we've lived without them for generations are all of a sudden their property, theirs to do with what they please. Do they care that we have nowhere to go? Do they care that just to survive, we have to take the scraps they are willing to leave? No. The video shifts to images of old buildings being demolished and construction vehicles moving in. Look around. What do you see? They're building new plants and factories, and all around them, in every direction, are people without homes, without money, without any options. It is easy to get exploitable, cheap labor when you create exploitable, desperate people. The video shifts this time, and you hear gunshots in the background of the voice. A distant voice shouts, "They're right outside the door!" The video shifts to factories, newly constructed, with a big target drawn over top of them in editing. Banging noises can be heard in the background as the voice starts up again. It is time for us to say no. These people are our enemies. These people mean you harm. These people need to be stopped. Hit them where it hurts. Don't be afraid of them. Do what... The voice is cut off by a loud, splintering bang. The sound of gunfire, close to the mic this time, and then static.
So
wait
that,
yeah.
was that part of the recording or what?
I would say that was probably not part of the original planned
As you're talking,
announcement.
The connection comes back with Losamar, who's very visibly flustered. She adjusts her tie, looks back in the camera, and goes, "Oh, that was weird. Must have been some sort of movie channel getting overlaid onto our broadcast. Anyway."
Oh, yeah, that explains it.
Like I was
Wait,
saying...
They get HBO?
We are just judging how you deal with contractors. Right, that's what I was saying before. See how you deal with the contractors. You may be working directly with many of the contractors of Project Rebirth if you get one of our contracts here. So part of this is seeing how well you do when mingling and representing us as a corporate entity. So be on your best behavior. We'll send out more details in text, but we will see you all shortly. Bye-bye. And then the call ends. You note that the meeting was scheduled to go for like another 15 minutes, but it seemed like she was rushing to cut it short.
Probably to go figure out where that movie channel came from.
I'd like to know where that came from, too. The fact that they were able to hijack the signal, I wonder if that means they're on the station somewhere.
I mean, we're orbiting around a planet, right? It could be planet side.
Yeah. It could be. I just don't know how difficult that would be to do at planet side.
I
feel
mean,
like you
from
would,
what
Techman
you
could probably
know,
figure that out.
Yeah,
From
so
what you know, the planet is ecologically devastated. Project Rebirth has not started yet, so most of the planet is toxic waste ground right now.
Right. If it did come planet side, that would mean there's people down there that we didn't previously know about. Also, it sounded like they were maybe shot at the end. So, like, maybe security was alerted and they narrowed down where the broadcast signal intrusion was coming from and physically put an end to it.
Well, I mean, we could ask Jessica to look into it from the ship. She may be able to trace it a little bit better than us in our room.
It's not a bad idea.
Let's if we want to go down that route.
Curious.
We have to make sure she doesn't get caught.
Yeah.
Also, are you guys ruling out the fact that they could have just done that?
No.
Like, right before we do some sort of gala, pull a stunt like that? I mean, they're probably waiting to see if any of these Lancer pilots are going to ask about it. We should keep our mouths shut and pretend like it didn't happen. At least to the people that would care.
Yeah.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't do it, it's still, I think, the best way to...
Yeah, this could be some, like, mind fuck they're doing, trying to psychologically test us, see how we would react to such an event.
In order to even investigate whether it's real or not, we would have to get the contract, so it's best to just pretend that the video never happened, like they want.
What never happened?
Exactly.
But all the more reason to
just like
sort
that
of
stupid thing.
All the more reason to try to figure out what caused this signal hijacking. Maybe we could trace it back to them.
Well, if we want Jessica to look into it, we should emphasize her not being found out over finding the answer. Her not being discovered over finding the answer. So, either way.
I'd look into it myself, but I probably would have to skip the gala to do that, and I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, Jessica's probably itching for something to do, because all she's doing is just waiting for stuff to happen back at the ship.
Well, let's give her a call.
Yeah.
All right. You pull up the DBC on the communicator. Jessica answers almost immediately and goes, "Hey guys, did you all get that message too?"
We did. That's actually why we're calling. What do you make of it?
Well, with all weird messages, I tried to figure out where it came from. It was a broad range broadcast. It was encoded to hack any active airwaves going on at the time. I just had a few monitoring systems up, and it took over all of my screens. I imagined that everywhere on the various station modules, any screen that was currently active at the time probably saw the same thing.
Interesting. So it wasn't just that broadcast that was hijacked. It was everything. Do you think that means it's coming from the station then?
I could spend some time and try to narrow down where it came from if you want.
Yeah, if you could, but be careful. Make sure you don't get found out.
By who?
By our benefactors.
Oh. Why? Wouldn't looking into... Also, you're contacting me on one of their devices, Astro.
That's an oversight.
Well, I'll look into it, but obviously we wouldn't want to do anything that would anger your patrons. So if I find any info, I'll just make it available for you.
All right. Thanks, Jessica.
When one of you gets the chance, it would probably be a good idea to stop back at the ship. There's some maintenance stuff that needs looked at. I'm sure Curry's very busy with watching over your mechs and stuff, so one of you should probably come over and check it out.
We could probably send Evelene back there at some point.
Yeah, sure. Maybe after the Wait, how is the mixer tonight?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe after the mixer.
All right. Sounds good. I will see you soon then.
Sure.
How long do we have until though?
Couple hours.
All right, I'll just look at Evan and go, maybe you should check on that stuff before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily spend that much time getting ready. It'll only take me like 15 minutes. Yeah, I'll head over now.
I don't imagine she's going to have a laundry list of things.
Okay. I will send the equivalent of a text message to Jessica saying I'm going to head over now, and then do that.
Okay. Yeah, you just send like a messenger message over the thing to the ship.
Okay.
She will get it. You get a read receipt.
She has me on red.
She's not going to respond.
Rude.
All right. So, Evelene, you head over to the DBC.
Yep.
All right. Evelene, you get on the tram. You have to wait a few minutes while the whole litany of commercials play on the tram about Project Rebirth.
I got a book. I'm going to finish this book before the end of the mission.
The tram takes you to the destination, and then before the tram doors open, another set of commercials plays about Project Rebirth. And then the door opens to go to the docking module. You take the kind of like within module elevator to get to the DBC, which I believe is on dock module 126, your hangar D8. You go up to D8. The DBC is there. And as you come on board the ship, Jessica's waiting for you, Evelene. And Jessica looks at you and is like, okay, great. You need to come check out this weird signal.
That's not a good sign. Yeah, I'm on. Let's go. Let's see it.
All right. She takes you up to the bridge and she goes, I'm actually surprised they sent you, Evelene.
What, as opposed to Astro or
Yeah.
Well, Astro, I imagine Astro wants more time to figure out his outfit.
Oh. There's not actually maintenance that needs to be done. I just didn't want to talk about this while we were on a public channel.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll tell you what. Let's see what I can figure out, and then when I fail, I can take some notes down.
Yeah, you can just take it. You can just take it back to them. Who knows? Maybe you'll know what's going on here. She takes you up to the cockpit, the bridge, basically, and takes you over to the operator station. She sits down and she starts pointing out the signal that was broadcast earlier. And she goes, okay, well, this is the signal of the thing that we all got transmitted to us. But look at this. I was detecting another signal, far weaker, that happened at the same time. And I don't think you guys would have gotten it over there. It came into the dock module here.
Because what? Because we're closer to the edge of the station, I assume?
It's hard to say. The numbering here is bullshit. Technical turn, capital B, capital S. I've tried to figure it out, but these modules move around, and I don't know why sometimes 86 is next to 87, and sometimes 127 is on the other side of 126. So go fucking figure that shit out yourself. But anyway, It looks like there was a much weaker transmission underlaid under that transmission that was encoded, and I can't figure out what it says. I can't break it. But it was sent to this dock module. Without more information, I can't figure out where it came from.
Specifically this module?
Yeah, where we're docked right now.
We're the only ones. Are there any other ships in this dock?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in your specific hangar, no. But dock module 126 is an entire module that is just hangars. It is ostensibly a dock.
Okay. Is it all the competitors for the contest here, or is it just a subset?
From what I understand, anyone who's taking part in contest is docked somewhere in this module.
Okay, so everyone's fair game. Okay.
But there are other ships here too. And those ones I don't know about. All I know is there's like 80 some hangars in this module. Not all of them are filled, but it's more than just the competitors here.
Just, I'm going on a hunch here, but I'm wondering if we've got a mole here. And I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything, but I'm wondering if this underlying message was meant for someone at this dock, and they were using the transmission as sort of like a cover,
She blinks at you blankly. Yeah. Yeah,
What?
Good deduction.
What was that? You don't think I can figure shit like this out?
She smiles a little bit and laughs under her breath. Goes,
Okay,
no,
so
Evelene, it's just I had thought the same thing. I thought that I had communicated clearly that that's what I was implying.
All right, here. See, can you give me a copy of this transmission and I can pass it to Astro? Maybe he can do some magic
put it.
with it.
Yeah, I loaded it onto a cartridge for you. She hands you a little UMD.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we still doing UMDs? Because I hope we are.
She hands you a UMD, and she goes, "I copied the whole message and everything I was able to gather off of it onto this UMD."
Good job. Yeah, I will see this gets to Astro. Anything else you want to go over?
Just, stay safe. It sounds like tensions are rising. I don't know how much, if anything, she does air quotes, patrons have told you, but, well, I don't know what they're going to want you to do. At least we can count on Ethic being on our side, but
As good as she's going to be. As of right now, she doesn't know who we are.
Yeah. Well, if you can figure out what the heck this is, try to figure out a way to get that information to me discreetly, and I can try to look more into it for us.
Yeah. If anything, it gives me an excuse to try to figure out how to get past this annoying commercial bullshit I have to go through every time I get on the tram. Drive me nuts.
Good luck with that. It sounds really annoying.
I mean, in terms of how terrible things go, that's low on my list, but I don't know.
While you're here, I forgot. Take these back with you. She reaches down and grabs like a little stack of Tupperware and hands them to you.
Are these empty? Do they have stuff inside them? Or
they're all filled with food. And she goes, well, there wasn't a lot to do on the ship, so I thought I'd give you some meals to take back with you.
Evelene just kind of looks at Jessica like, you're an angel. You know that, right?
She smiles and goes, I haven't grown any wings yet.
Probably would be hard to fit through doors if you did, so probably for the best.
Thank goodness, then. Anyway, be safe there, Evelene.
Yeah, we'll keep you in the loop. We gotta socialize tonight.
Oh, well. Don't let Astro make you angry. You shout a lot when Astro makes you angry.
I hate that you hit the nail on the head and Evelene just leaves. She's right. It feels bad to be called out on something that's 100% correct.
All right. So, yeah, you're able to head back to the shared residence with the obligatory commercials in beginning and ending.
Do we have a fridge for these leftover for this food, or?
The little residence you have is basically a townhouse. It has like a full kitchen.
We have a fridge because we found a recording device in it.
Oh, that's right. We did. Okay, yeah, and I'll give the UMD to Astro, and I'll give everyone the 411 and say like, hey, this is what we found. There's something going on here. We need to figure out.
Should have realized she didn't actually mean the ship needed maintenance.
Wait, you didn't?
I'm not on my game today. First, I call her on a unencrypted line. I guess I'm distracted, thinking too much about the soiree.
Well, you were too distracted by picking out your outfit.
Yeah. Well, Astro, you need to be on your A game because you're the face of this group, like it or not. And I'm not trying to put pressure on you. Yeah. Well, you got to socialize the shit out of these contractors. And I'm going to stay in the corner and stay completely out of it.
I mean, Eveline's right. We don't have any kind of experience in these kinds of things, but you've been around it before, haven't you?
Oh yeah, you go to a lot of these sort of things in the movie business. Fundraisers, opening night parties, etc. Famous people's birthdays. But let me first look at the message and see if I can see what was hidden in here.
Oh, did you ever go to Nicolas Cage's birthday? I heard he turned
what?
4,000 recently. Yeah, he's a vampire.
Is this the same Cage or is he immortal now?
No, same one. He's totally a vampire, right?
Yeah.
I hear he rests in a big pyramid every decade or two to get his energy back, but
I mean,
wait, is this canon? Are we making this canon, or is it just a title that gets passed on?
Absolutely not.
Oh,
there are no immortals in this world.
I was gonna say, if Nick Cage is here, then Keanu Reeves must be here because he's immortal too.
I do like the idea.
I just said.
I do like the idea of Nick Cage's name just being passed down the generations. Like he's the latest iteration of Cage.
Yeah, it's like the Dalai Lama.
That's a title now.
Yeah.
Can we make that canon? I really like that idea.
I will say it's more like every so many generations, like there's a report run, on the Entertainment Watch newspapers is like, is this new generation's Nick Cage? And then, that's an article that gets a lot of traction for like 5 years.
His influence.
No one even knows what it means anymore.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure Astro was chosen as that person for his generation of actors.
There's a few articles, clickbait articles. Is this a new Nick Cage? All right, so Astro will take a look at the message and see what he can decrypt from it.
All right, this sounds like a pilot check to me.
I think it does. So let's do the good old hack skill trigger. There are no objections.
Yes, the risk here is that you might harm the data if you fail.
Okay.
It is very strongly encrypted. So the downside's pretty bad, but it's within your wheelhouse. So I'm going to give you accuracy on this. But it is not dangerous. So it's still a normal check with accuracy, but the downside's pretty bad.
Can I also ask a question before I do this? When I look at do like a cursory surface glance at the data, does this seem to fit the MO of Honora Buzz?
It does not. No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Let's roll it up. You said accuracy?
Yes.
Ooh, 31.
How is that even a possible roll to get?
Yeah, he rolled a 19.
Yeah, you got a 19 plus 6 plus 6.
Jesus.
Did he pass a heroic check or something?
I mean, if it was a heroic check, you would have succeeded.
Wow.
So, with no downsides.
Yeah.
Astro, I like the end of the hack or fix thing that says, the middle, it says hack it wide open. That's what you do. You hack it wide open. You start drilling down into this, and you don't know if it's because you're like self-conscious because you flubbed a couple of like security things earlier today and you're like really focused on doing this thing right, but like you dance through this routine that you've set up here. You are able to extract basically any piece of information that you would have been able to get out of this. It is a coded transmission that was sent from elsewhere, a different module in the assortment of modules that hover over the planet. That was directed to the spaceport. Obviously, it wasn't directed to the DBC. You can't directly tell who it was intended for because you snagged it out of the air. You didn't get it from their system, you know? Mm-hmm. But this transmission came from a residential sector deeper within... Well, it used to be a residential sector. As you're looking it up, you see that it used to be designated Residential Sector 100, is now designated Industrial Sector 100.
So is this, am I determining that the entire broadcast was sent from here, or just the like sort of hidden message?
So this is just this hidden message.
Okay, got it.
This hidden message was sent from Industrial Module 100 to Dock Module 126. Basically what you are able to determine is the contents of the coded transmission was a location. It was a location on Module 100.
Okay, interesting. How far is Module 100 from the entertainment module that we're in?
I mean, depends on the day. You can just pull it up on the schematic.
I'll look at like a map.
You know, it'd be a couple tram rides away, but it is important to note you have not been authorized to go to these places. Right now, you only have access to Dock Module 126, Entertainment Module 81, and Residential Module 82. Those are the only parts of the station you're allowed on without being part of Project Rebirth.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to, of course, share this information with everyone. I'll say the message just contains a location on Module 100. I am tempted to go check that out, but we don't have access to that module. Now, there may be some things we can try. Maybe I can hack into their system and increase our privilege levels. Maybe at the soiree today, I like calling it the soiree, we can convince one of the higher ups to give us access. It might be a bit more challenging, honestly, than hacking, but it could be cleaner.
What specifically was Module 100? Like, what's there? Do we know? Beyond it just being not allowed to be there.
All I know is you said it was industrial.
It is currently Industrial Module 100. It was redesignated from in Residential Module 100 a few months ago.
Right. That's all I know about it. It used to be a residential module. A few months ago, they repurposed it for industrial reasons.
I think we still need to think that everything right now could be related to this contest, right?
So, I have some dirt on Grime RK. I could probably cash that in and see, convince him to give me access.
At the cost of his vote to us.
Yeah, I was about to say, that might put us on his bad side.
Well, I mean, we could probably kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It is blackmail after all. I could probably convince him to vote for us and give us access to the module. Might be a little bit more difficult, though.
They might be looking to see if people investigate it during the gala soiree.
However, this message was directed towards our dock module.
Where
Meaning,
all the Lancers are, like the ships?
was it? I know you went over this already, but was it specifically our dock module, or is it everyone in that module?
It was to dock module 126. You're in hangar D8 of dock module 126. There are like 80 hangars in that module.
Got it.
You don't know where it was directed exactly.
Got it. Yeah. So, yeah, we might assume that other teams have also intercepted this message.
True.
Well, it was either meant for all of us as part of the contest, or one of the teams for some unknown reason, if it's not part of the contest, right?
Yes. Either way, we need to check it out.
I think that if someone was savvy enough to send this the way they did, they would just send it to the one ship that they were trying to send it to. So that leads me to believe it was supposed to be sent to all of us.
That may be true, but they also might have been working in constrained conditions, and this is the best they could do on short notice.
Well, they may not have known which specific dock within the module that their target was in. If there's 80 docks within the module, they may not have been privy to where their target was, just the general area.
Well, I guess the only way to clear up these speculations is to go there. So I could take a look. Maybe I could hack into their system and raise our access level.
Here's a dumb question. Could you just hack a security camera at that location and see what's there?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, it seems like the safer option.
It's hard to say without knowing how their network's set up. They may have a closed system where the camera feed's only available on that module.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to transition to hacker mode. Put on my fingerless gloves.
But you're already wearing some.
I'm not saying we shouldn't, but the whole point of this might be to do nothing. These people might be looking for Lancer pilots that'll just keep their nose down and not mess with this kind of thing. This is off mission.
Well, I think that could be the case, but I'd rather have more information. So, best of both worlds, we figure out what's going on while remaining undetected.
All right.
They don't know we're doing something, then no harm done.
As long as we're fully aware, I'm all right. Just making sure that, we're thinking about that. So apparently some people can't pick up on the subtext that Jessica gives.
Listen, I was distracted. This jacket clashes with my pants.
Evelene got it. She went right away.
Did you get it, Evelene?
Yes. Yeah, totally did.
Dyne just kind of squints like he doesn't quite believe you, but doesn't say anything.
I'm gonna go get changed. And Evelyn just kind of awkwardly leaves before people ask more questions.
I didn't know Evelyn had other clothes.
Just I don't know, nicer pair of overalls, I guess.
I actually do. There's a whole side bit where I bought nicer clothes with Honora. Those are the clothes I'm wearing.
I remember this.
He's gonna come down the staircase
foreshadowing.
wearing a beautiful ball gown, like Pretty Woman.
Yeah, it's a trench coat and a vest.
All right, so Astro, are you doing a thing?
Yeah, so I am doing a thing. So I would like to using the terminal we have in our residence, jack into it with the subjectivity enhancement suite and just sort of do some probing, figure out how our access is handled, our level of access, and see if that's something I could possibly change from here remotely.
Your level of access. What do you mean exactly? Like, name your goal more clearly.
Yeah, so like I assume like we get on the tram. Have we been given like key cards or something? Maybe I'm making jumping to conclusions here.
On the first day, I believe you were all given stuff by Losamar to take to open your rooms and stuff.
I might be jumping ahead. Can we just get on a tram and go anywhere? Or
you have not tried to go anywhere you weren't told to go yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, other than sneaking past guards, but that's different.
Right. Yeah, I was kind of assuming we're going to places that we swipe a card to get access to,
From what you've been able to determine, the tram that runs from Dock Module 126 to Entertainment Module 81 did not require anything of you to board and travel. But to get on the elevator and to get into your residence, you did need to have that thing on you.
Gotcha. What I'll do instead is see if there's a way to access camera feeds like Evelene suggested on Module 100.
So the probing will not cost you a pilot check. It will just tell you what you would need to do.
Okay.
You cannot tell from here whether or not you would be able to get into cameras on 100 from where you are now. You're one layer too high to even know if that's a possibility. From here, you would need to hack into the network systems for Module 100 to even see what's there. This will give you access to things there, but you're not sure what those things are without actually getting in.
Okay.
But
how risky is... go ahead.
Yes, this is what I was going to get to. Doing that from here, this is not... Like, you're using your subjectivity enhancement kit, but this is not your stuff. Like, this is not your kit, right? You're not doing this from the DBC. You're not doing this from, like, your own terminal, right?
Right.
So based on the security they have set up, this would add difficulty, and it's risky. Basically the consequences would be if you fail, you don't get in, and an alert goes up. On a success with consequences, you would get in, but they would know you got in.
Yeah.
On a full success, you would get in and be undetected.
Okay. So Astro will just say to the others, I could try to access the network for Module 100 from here, but personally, I think it's a bit too risky for me to try. There's a very high probability that even if I do it successfully, they'll detect my intrusion.
Then I don't think it's worth it, to be honest. Because that could cost us in the next round.
Yes. I agree.
I'm of the opinion that we should make copies of what we found and hand them off to each of the counselors so they think they all have some information.
Well, we could do that, but what if we're actually lose sight of the bigger picture here. What if we're actually aiding these corporations in suppressing any sort of resistance?
I'm sorry. I thought the whole point here is that we are. I'm going to assume, by the way, as I continue this, that music is playing. That we're still concerned with bug taps, right? Like,
you guys set up security protocols, and I am respecting those. Is what I will say.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I'm just making sure. But
I mean, I think
what I was saying then is that
go ahead.
Please go.
I think what Astro is suggesting is the whole end game is to help Epic figure out what's going on here, and that might be a nugget information for our investigation after we win the contest. That might be something we can investigate. Whereas if we inform the council of that now, I mean, they could cover that up or make it difficult to investigate later.
I don't really understand exactly what you're saying. My point is that we are here to get the contest, to win. That is our point. And in doing so, we will be helping Ren get a much better position to do things that Ren needs to do. Is that not the most important thing here? Is that not our mission?
Mm-hmm.
That's our mission, but we also don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face. If we're actively suppressing legitimate resistance here, that's not good either.
Well, that's why we should adopt the neutral position. To be honest, we don't know what's going on specifically with, like, what's going on with the contact there. It could have to do with the resistance, or it could have been broadcast with the resistance for a completely unrelated matter.
I still think it's much more likely that these corpos purposefully put that broadcast out as part of this contest, and that we should play around thinking that way. And
I agree.
This is just a red herring that they're trying to see who goes in too deep on missions and gets sidetracked. And I'll kind of stare pointedly at Astro and Evelene.
No, I agree. I think we should just adopt the neutral position, and it's something we can investigate later if we can find a safe point. But for now, if Astro gets caught, it's going to cost us more than we gain. Because remember, the end goal of our mission is get the contract.
All right.
And what can we do to do anything if we don't get that contract?
And if you guys want to keep this information tight to your chest because you think it might be important, then fine. But if other Lancers got this information, and we should assume that they do because they are at least as good as we are, then they're going to be using every advantage they can get to get further in the contest, and we are then losing our main objective.
I still think I want to find out what's at this industrial module.
Do we have to do it now?
Suppose not.
It is now like an hour to 30 minutes before the soiree. If you choose to do something else that isn't this, you will have to be absent for the soiree.
Well, I don't think we're going to do anything else that would cause us to miss the event.
All right.
I'll just say let's see if we can find out anything more. Maybe we could get a sense from the other teams if they also found this encrypted message.
Well, let's see. Well, we've met pretty much everyone. Let's take an account of who's present and who's not.
You have seen all the teams, but there are a fair amount of people on the teams that you haven't actually spoken with or gotten their names or anything like that.
Yeah.
So you might like recognize them from attire and stuff, but I would say as of right now, there are a few people I could think of that could go missing and you might not notice.
Okay. Like Dyne would look for like general numbers. Maybe he wouldn't like he would recognize that they're part of the teams and such, but yeah.
an interesting fluke of the way ships work in this setting is that most strike teams or small groups of operators tend to be groups of 4. And that is because one of the most popular ship types to take combatants into the field is called a pod ship. And pod ships are built to have 4 pods on them. So, I mean, that it kind of is normally the case that, like, if a mercenary group gets big enough that they have more than that, they will split up into subgroups. That's what Shep 7 is, basically, right? Like, you guys know that the Cane Vagrants is a much larger organization than Shep 7. Shep 7 is a squad that works for the Cane Vagrants. So sometimes teams have 5, sometimes teams have 3, but generally 4 is the sweet spot, unless they have like mechs they're taking in regularly that are like size 3 and stuff like that, right? Like,
right.
It's just a funny little quirk of the way like you get to and from places in this. Generally, when you see other teams that are like you, they'll be either groups of like 3, 4, or 5.
Are there any mechs that require 2 pilots?
Yeah, there are some like size 4 mechs that are literally more like weapons platforms. And it's like there are people in charge of like piloting it. There are people in charge of like loading the weaponry and firing them like old style tanks.
Oh.
And any mech that has a goblin attached to it.
Yeah.
But if only the goblin actually attached to something at some point.
Yeah.
It'd be such a cool ability to see work.
I've never seen it done.
Not once.
I've seen it explode a couple of times, but
So Astro is going to make a suggestion. During the party, I'll say to everyone, why don't we all split up and talk to the different teams, and just get a sense, if you can, what they know about this message, and if they're looking into it. I could talk to the Cane Vagrants, Shep 7, and I could talk to Mr. Smiles, or whatever his name is.
It's just Smiles. He doesn't
Yeah.
have an
Smiles.
honorific.
Okay, just Smiles.
What was the
Smile
chill group
song.
that I hung out with for a while?
That is the Dire Scholars.
All right, I'll talk to the nerds that drink.
They were right behind us, actually, in terms of ranking.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
Yeah, they came in 4th.
Yeah.
I wrote it all down.
Anyone else make any contact with any of these other teams?
What was
not
the
really.
group that shook us down, Astro?
Oh,
Was that
yeah.
Alabast? Yeah,
I
it
think
was
that was
Alabast.
sounds right.
Alabast, yeah.
Alabast are the people you talk to in the elevator, and Dwarf Elboss is the group that has the fiber optic ghillie suit guy that talked to you once.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Alabast. They're a little intimidating, but they seem like they were trying to look for people to work with. So we might be able to get information out of them, but it would come at a cost.
Well, let's.
Anyone want to talk to them? Do you want me to take them as well?
Well, Astro, I think those 2 groups are fine for you. But you also remember we have to spend some time with our soon-to-be contractors.
Bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
the committee members are going to be there, as well as many contractors that are working on Project Rebirth. So imagine people who are like, I am in charge of getting the iron to the iron smeltery, right? Like, there's a lot of people who handle the smaller projects who are all going to be there as well.
I want to talk to that guy.
Of course you do, Evelene. I will say there are two teams that you have had no interaction with whatsoever, and that is ShareSeal and Prismalo, the people who are at the top of the rankings and the people who are at the bottom of the rankings.
I was actually kind of interested to talk to Prismalo. No particular reason. It's just I know that they had the worst time last round, but I'm curious to see what their perspective is on this.
Sure.
Tell you what, Astro, I'll talk to Alabast. That'll free you up some time to talk to some of the higher ups, because I don't want to do that.
All right. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, as the face of
our
our group, you should definitely be making headway with the upper echelon.
And then
I could do all the ass kissing for you guys.
And have a 2-word conversation with Efik saying, "Hi, I'm here." No, wait.
And then one last thing, and this is just for Dyne, to keep in mind that Sam has a thing he wants you to do still.
I'm aware, and after the after how well Dwarf Elbas did, Dyne is wondering if it's even possible to salvage them.
I'm just saying, that's
I know
it's a thing on the table. You can deal with that any way you want. I just wanted to make sure that you had it in your mind.
Dyne is almost curious about Jeremy is almost curious about the consequences. I will figure that out.
Hey, listen, fucking around and finding out is a good way to see where the story goes. So,
yes, I am fully aware.
You're encouraging it.
I am fully aware. Okay.
All right. Is everyone kind of prepped and primed for this little mixer?
I think so. We've got our targets, and what, and use discretion, obviously. Talk to them about it, but don't arouse suspicions.
All right. To follow where you were told to meet up, you will be given access to an area that you did not priorly have access to. In Residential Module 82, which is where you all are staying right now, I had said before that the levels were A, B, C, D, and offices. So far, you've only had access to A, B, and C. That's where all the teams are currently set up with residences. You've been given access to the offices floor. There is a ballroom on the offices floor where they are setting up for this get-together. You've all been given kind of like a little station map readout that is attached to the message that was sent later. This comes approximately 30 minutes before you're expected to be there. You get this on the wall terminal being like, this is where it is. This is how to get there. This is like a little map readout of how to get there. And appended in very official sounding language is like a rebuke of those who would play around with transmission protocols and how it takes time and effort to put together these transmission protocols, and having fun and playing around and interrupting these is considered a crime, and that not to worry, they're sure that the people responsible have been brought to justice already.
We'll see about that.
All right.
Yeah.
So you arrive. It is a pretty large, kind of nicely laid out ballroom. All the tables have nice linens on them. There's like a nice little centerpiece in the middle of every table. There is a bar set up on one side of the ballroom where there's 3 bartenders. There's a entire shelf, they have 4 shelves of different liquors behind them. There are already people mulling around there. None of these people you recognize, who are already ordering drinks and, kind of mingling and talking with one another. You can see as the first couple of teams arrive, you being amongst the first wave of teams to arrive. you kind of come in, you see that there is like little assignments, like a little table with like name tag assignments almost, and it just tells you like you basically pick up the one that's for your team, right? And it says, oh yeah, the murder of crows. It tells you guys are at table 20 or something like that, right? And you can see your table over there. Funnily, the tables that the teams are designated at, you can tell even from a distance, even if you hadn't picked up this little chit that says you're supposed to go to table 20, because your table, as part of the centerpiece, has your team's logo on it. Hey, Astro, what does the Murder of Crows logo look like?
Yeah, probably just a stylistic, minimalistic looking crow, like kind of like a silhouette of a crow.
Is it in flight, or is it perched, or is there anything behind it?
It's perched. I think crows look more intimidating when they're perched.
So is it just like a rail with a bird on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess let's say it's a rail with four crows on it, because we are the murder of crows.
Okay, yeah. Nice. Okay, a rail with 4 menacing-looking crows on it.
Yeah.
Did one of them have a knife in their mouth?
Yes.
I mean, to stick with your theme, one of them should be big, one of them should be little, one of them should be blue, and one of them should be red. But then they wouldn't read as crows. So, like...
So much for the minimalist design.
Yeah. But yeah, what is your team's goals as you come in? I would say the teams that have arrived to begin with is Uncanny Ravine has arrived. The Dire Scholars have arrived. You have arrived. The Cane Vagrants have arrived. Share Seal has arrived. The other 3 have not arrived yet.
How about the council representatives? Are they there?
Are already here. Many of them are already like standing up in various areas, with like, how like when people are just standing up talking and like they're holding drinks and stuff, they create like almost like little circles develop of people speaking. And you can see some contractors already having taken, their attention. It seems they're actually using this ball like room event to discuss business as well. Even like going past this entry place, you can overhear one of the contractors who's at the bar getting a drink telling one of the other contractors at the bar is like, oh, well, I'm glad they're doing this. I haven't been able to get my what are those things called? Is like, this is the money I'm spending. Please, budget. He's like, I haven't been able to get my budget approved. I need to make sure I get, one of them, by the collar while I'm here at some point, so I can bring up my budget with it. Like, it seems like they're using this as an actual business event as well, and you all are expected to comport yourselves as such.
Okay. Got it. I'll say to the others, well, here we are. I think I'll make the rounds and talk to some of the council representatives.
All right.
If you guys want to get settled in, order a drink or food or whatever, go ahead. Or if you want to mingle as well, up to you.
Just imagine Astro's now walking around with a drink in hand, talking with all these people.
He somehow has a drink already. You never saw him get it.
Well, I mean, Astro knows exactly how to get the drinks from these parties. He's been to so many before, he didn't even need to think.
This is difficult because Astro is supposed to be some smooth operator at these like parties, but like Todd is definitely not, so...
Dude, trust me, as a person who likes playing charisma characters but not like having social anxiety, it always troubles me.
Yeah. I'm just glad that I can do roles for like charm, that I don't actually have to rely on necessarily my charm to charm people.
You called someone like the wrong name like a few sessions ago.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, Lisa. It's like, did you call me Lisa?
Yeah, I did. And I still charmed her.
See, that's what that stat does for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, who wants to kind of hit things off, hit the ground running here?
I'll go. I'll go up and see if I can mingle with some of the council people.
Right. You know what the council people look like at this point. Yeah. Tell me who you're aiming at.
Let's start with. Is there anyone that is sort of not engaged in conversation right now?
Let me see.
Loner.
No.
Yes, the loner councilman.
No, none of them. I looked through all of them quickly to be like, no,
they're all...
no. No, they're all currently doing things right now. Although I will say, it looks like two of them are in a single conversation. So it's like a bigger group, but Opie and Nosla are currently in the same group of people.
Okay. And Opie and Nosla represent who again?
Opie Orihart is he, they. They represent apogee, material, and materiel. And then Nosla Anchor is she, her. She represents unfolding Moravec.
Oh, okay.
So that the first group, apogee, material, materiel, they're like heavy construction, like shipbuilders, like they're the rough and tumble kind of corp. Unfolding Moravec is more systems based. They're the ones providing the computer systems and like the logistics systems that are making everything run.
Yeah. I'll approach them. I think I wanted to talk to Nosla anyway, because I'm sort of interested in her role at Unfolding.
All right. You make your way over. It seems that one of the other groups had a similar idea. And as you make your way over to this group of people, a ostentatious looking person is along with you. This person is almost twice your size. And I'm talking height, Astro. Like, they tower over other people. They're large of body and of musculature. They wear metal pauldrons, a cape, and a circlet. They wear grand clothing befitting a conqueror.
Wow.
Yeah. But they just like walk to the same group like alongside of you. They start to outpace you and just walk past you like they didn't see you, and they just step into the conversation, pushing two people out of the way and just stand there.
I'll step in as well, and I'll say, this one looks like he's ready to do battle at this party.
The large person like looks down at you almost dismissively, like literally looking down his nose at you, his head slightly raised, and he's looking down through the bottom of his eyes at you. And you could swear you hear a humph come from under their breath. They look at the two people here who are the council members and just says outright, like, I am here to discuss business. I hear that is what this event is about. Perhaps you should get rid of your peons so we can discuss openly.
I wanted to make introductions as well. And, given that this is a friendly event, I figure we can all play nice together.
Again, this person just looks at you oddly dismissively. The other contractors here who are just here to like try and talk to their bosses or people who are maybe two above them in the chain of command, like look intimidated. They are like, okay, backing out of this conversation now. Like they make an excuse or something. It's like, oh, time to refill my drink, or oh, I think that's so and so over there, and they like back out of the conversation. Only like 2 of them stay. Nosla looks annoyed. Nosla sees this happen and looks annoyed. Opie just locks on to this person and seems like interested in figuring out what their deal is. But I will say, this person introduces themselves. They are they, them. Their name is Anders. They are one of the other members of Uncanny Ravine.
Okay, got it. And go ahead, Chuck.
It sounds like they'd be the kind of person to hang out with Smiles.
Yeah, the Uncanny Ravine is all sorts of unsettling, as their name implies. I'll say, really, I just wanted to come up and say I admire the work both you are doing, Opie and Nosla. I'm Xander Nova, by the way. Pleasure to meet you. The acquisitions that Unfolding has been making, genius. I can't wait to see where your company goes next. You are expanding quite rapidly.
You catch her attention with this, Astro. Go ahead and make me a pilot roll to continue here. You do have some more, specific information that would definitely roll into kind of the... You know specifics of some of the companies they've taken over recently.
Yeah,
so.
One of them is my company, but not Xander's company, so... So I will roll a charm.
Yeah, go for it.
19.
Yeah, this is just a straight up check. She crosses her arms and nods up and down at you and goes, yes, I believe we're on the right track. There are a lot of untapped avenues of business that we're looking into recently. I'm surprised you heard of them. Only people who are savvy in the business realm are able to untangle the web of holding companies we tend to employ. I'm surprised you've heard of our recent forays.
Yes, well, I like to keep my ear to the ground, and what can I say? The technology sector is a hobby of mine. I like reading up what's next, what's on the cutting edge.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to read in between the lines.
The 2 people that are subcontractors who stayed look like they are much more comfortable with this conversation happening, and are like, whew.
Yeah.
And then immediately, Anders just butts into the conversation and goes, yes, you acquired some people. Excellent. What is going on with the contest? I think we'd all rather get to work. I'm sure you don't want to waste your precious time with all this nonsense. Again, Nosla just looks annoyed, but this time Opie speaks up and goes, well, you're a straight shooter, I'll give you that, but yeah, I agree. There's a little bit of extra flair going on here that maybe isn't necessary. Why don't you and I have a little chat? I think you're scaring some people. You see Opie kind of walk up, and even Opie, who is a large person, who has these cybernetic implants that you can just barely see across the face and over the chest and shoulders because they wear a cut-off business suit, basically.
Yeah.
Basically takes this person over to discuss something privately. But you are left in the group with Nosla and these other 2 contractors, Astro.
Who are the other 2 contractors?
They haven't introduced themselves yet.
Okay. Did you say they're subcontractors? So
they're not
one of the council members.
They don't seem important. They're not one of the committee members. And you have not seen them before.
Okay. I'll say tell me, what is your long-term plans here? I'm thinking about investing.
Nosla smiles and goes, I'm sure you and many others. Obviously, I can't give you too much information. They might say I'm doing some otherwise frowned upon trading of tips. But let me just assure you that Unfolding has the future in mind. In fact, that's a lot of what Project Rebirth is about.
Indeed, yeah. It seems a very synergistic fit for you at Unfolding.
Well, I wouldn't want to stand out too much, but let's say my contributions have not gone unnoticed. Perhaps if you get a contract at the end of this, we can work more closely together. You'll find that pinning yourself to my rising star might benefit you.
I identified your company out of all these contractors as the one I most want to be associated with. So I think we're of like minds here.
Tell me, what have you thought of Contest so far?
It's interesting, the whole song and dance of it.
Oh, and why don't you say more?
Well, a lot of us wonder what is real and what's just being set up for the contest.
One of the contractors goes, what's real and set up? I thought you guys were doing some sort of, big interview here or something.
That I'll just continue talking to Nosla, like the other guy's not even worth my time. See how that goes.
Nice.
And I'll say that that broadcast signal intrusion, for example, we wonder how real that was. Surely, with this collaboration with firms technically savvy, such as yourself, that could have been avoided.
A very practiced expression, one that you've seen often, Astro. The smile stays the same, pinned there by politeness, but something in the eyes changes. There is a discomfort behind those eyes now.
Mm-hmm.
But to many others, might not be as visible. And she goes, I assure you that broadcast protocols were merely an oversight. Who knew people would want to play such a malicious prank? Of course, our first priorities were securing things like water and electricity and other necessities. We did not think people would attempt to start a panic in this way. Honestly, it's a sign to us that we need to have a firmer hand on these people who would harm themselves in this way. The other contractor who hasn't spoken up yet, to the other contractor who's also in this conversation says, oh man, it was scary stuff. The other one goes, those oathfuls are full of bluster. Bunch of thugs.
I'll say to Nosla, well, it makes me wonder about the governor of the station, Grime RK. Does he really have things under control, do you think, here?
She continues to smile, but now there's like a derision in her glance. The other two in part of the conversation kind of prop up their ears a little bit to see what her response is going to be. She goes, oh, well, the esteemed Governor Grimes does not handpick or control everything that happens in this station. His focus is the whole sector. I'm honestly surprised that he would care so much about what happens on this one planet, but he insisted he be let into Project Rebirth since it was happening in his sector. I've tried to assure him that if he wanted to let the other 4 of us take full control over this, it would be perfectly okay for him to lend his authority to our judgment, but he insisted he wants to have a hand in the project. I would recommend perhaps you talk to him about it.
I just may do that. I'm curious on his perspective on things. Some would say, not me, mind you, but some would say he's just trying to ride on the coattails of your success.
You hear a what's the word? A muffled, someone who let the air escape from their mouth as if they were going to laugh but held it in.
Yeah.
From one of the other contractors who was in the conversation. And she goes, well, it takes all kinds, don't you agree? Sometimes whether you want it to or not.
Everyone has their role to play, I suppose.
Sometimes we just need to help them find what role that is. I'll be keeping an eye on you, Xander.
I'm glad to hear it. I hope you like what you see. And let me just say, what a pleasure it was to meet you in person.
Please, if you have not had an opportunity to sample the hors d'oeuvres, they're quite delightful. This is her gently asking you to leave now.
Yeah. I will get right on that. I'll just kind of give her a little bow and make my way off.
All right. While that was happening, what were any of the other of you 3 doing?
Has Prisma Loeb entered the ballroom yet?
Prisma Low is amongst the late arrivers.
Okay.
But they have arrived now.
How are they
They just come in a little bit after you.
Okay.
They are wearing some very bold pattern choices.
Are we talking like leopard skin bold or...
I'm talking gingham, herringbone, houndstooth, and tartan.
Excuse me while I look that up.
These are all textile patterns.
I will need to look these up. So they're trying to make a statement, it looks like.
They are...
It's quite a statement.
Making bold fashion choices here.
It's a statement. It's not a statement I would make, but hey, it's a statement.
Evelene is gonna, if she hasn't, I assume Astro's doing his thing. Sorry, Xander
Astro
is doing his thing.
is like, imagine I'm trying to find out what you guys are doing while Astro is mingling over on the other side of the ballroom.
Well, I order a fancy drink and then I kind of scoozy over to Prisma Low to talk to them for a bit.
A fancy drink of ordinary whiskey?
Maybe an old-fashioned with some higher quality whiskey.
Oh, yeah. It's an open bar, Evelene.
Oh, I'll be back. But yeah, I'll just get an old-fashioned. That seems classy, right?
Seems fine to me.
And then I'll say, like, she'll kind of walk over and lift her chin up, say, like, nice duds.
One of the people there responds to you and goes, oh, why, thank you. We decided it's not often we get to have the opportunity to dress our best, with the dirty work and whatnot. You're one from one of those other teams, right? The Murder of Crows.
You got it.
One of the other people at the table goes, seems like you guys did pretty good. Must be nice.
Still early on. We can find ways to screw up. How you guys been holding up?
The one in Herringbone kind of like crosses his arms and looks at you and goes, "Things could be better, but we're gonna ride this out and see how it goes."
I'd say that's a good outlook. I wish you guys the best of luck.
Yeah.
What'd you guys make of that transmission that was going on earlier?
They like look amongst each other, and the lady in gingham speaks up and goes, "Well, I mean, we've heard things. I'm surprised you haven't."
Well, we're not from this part of the space, so we're just we're just trying to learn as much as we can. It doesn't hurt to have more information.
She sighs and looks around the room at all the people in various conversations, looks at you and goes, "Well, I've heard that their project has raised the ire of some of the locals. I'm sure they'll get things in hand soon enough. By hook or by crook, as they say."
Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. Evelene is not a conversationalist. She's realizing she will take a sip of her old fashioned. You guys should make sure to check out the bar. Open. It's open.
The one in Tartan says, "Yeah, thinking I'm gonna do that. Thanks." He pats you on the shoulder as he just leaves the conversation and heads to the bar.
Yeah. Has any of the?
It was nice meeting you.
All right.
My name is Cher Litwick, and you?
Evelene.
Nice meeting you, Evelene. I hope your prospects here continue to prosper. But if not, maybe get in touch. We've heard of another job nearby in case things go south here.
Not yet, but we all need jobs from time to time.
If you don't mind, we're going to see about getting some information.
All right, yeah, I'll leave you to it. As Evelene walks back, she looks at Dyne and kind of mouths like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Dyne just gives her a thumbs up.
What about Dyne or Steve? What have you guys been up to?
Go ahead if you got some.
Not really. If Astro is talking with like the upper level management, Dyne is going to go around and speak to some of like the mid-level management, like the people who are here that are just kind of here because their bosses are here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You get into a fun little conversation where there's a bunch of people just chatting about current events. When you join the conversation, you see a couple of the contractors look around and they introduce themselves. These aren't like ongoing NPCs, so I'm not going to like get into the nitty gritty here. But like, there are people who are like, "Oh, I deal with asphalt," like, "Oh, I'm here from, the construction crews," or, "Oh, I'm over on, module 127, and I represent the dock workers there or something like that, right? So they just bring you in and they're like, oh, they start probing you with questions about contest. What do you tell them?
Let's see. I would give them maybe a little bit more than surface level answers. Like, not like answers that answer their question but don't quite answer their question almost. If that makes sense.
Sure. So if they ask, like, well, what are they actually having you do?
Yeah.
How are they judging you?
I would be like, well, they obviously have their own criteria, and I imagine that each of the 5 have different things that they're looking for, but it's a points-based system, and it's difficult to say how much each of the 5, how much of each of their decisions carry weight, if that makes sense.
And this ignites a little conversation amongst them. And one of them goes, oh, yeah, the 5 of them. I'm surprised to see Effic here.
Oh, and why is that?
Well, I mean, everyone knows she's good at her job, but really? Someone who would sell out her own family? Is that really someone you want making decisions?
Well, that may be the case, but when it comes to the corporate world, sometimes you have to look the other way if someone is extremely capable in their job, as much as you might dislike it.
One of the other contractors seems to nod in like agreement to what you've said, and then another one says, well, speaking of distasteful things, what do you think about that little transmission the other day? We all been discussing it before you arrived.
Well, it's difficult to say. If our group gets the contract and we're assigned to deal with it, we'll deal with it. Otherwise, I think the best option right now is to simply stay neutral. If it's not my problem, it's not my problem. If it becomes my problem, I'll deal with it.
One of them says it'd be so much easier if they would just let Corsac come in and deal with it. And then one of the other people says, they wouldn't do that. Corsac's been barred from participation in Project Rebirth.
Really? Is it just like typical corporate fighting over this project, or was it due to something else Corsac has done recently, among the many other things that they typically end up doing?
The same man who said that was like, well, from the way I hear it, that Corsac wanted to contribute security, and the other members of Project Rebirth thought they would try to muscle too far into the project and decided to elect to use their own internal corporate and station security. So Corsac's on the outside looking in right now. But they did want to take part. It's just the other 3 were very against it.
Yes, well, when Corsac security comes in, they tend to take over, regardless of how much the other participants, well, you know. Not that their security isn't good, it's extremely good, but intruding on the territory of the corporations is something that, well, Corsac would just want to do.
Hey, Dyne, I'd like you to roll me a general pilot check for the conversation you've been having. How are you surviving amidst these people, like, trying to, like, pick your brain here?
I don't really have... Like, stay cool is probably the closest that I have, but it doesn't really fit in this situation. Otherwise, it would just be a general pilot check.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a generalized pilot check, then.
1d20. 8.
They are okay with your responses, but you can tell that they start to treat you as if you're too unopinionated. Right? Like, you've fallen into that category where it's like anything they try to ask you, they don't get anything juicy, so they become like moderately bored with your presence.
After a while, I'll go, well, guys, I've appreciated the conversation, but I think it's time for me to refill my drink.
They nod and raise their drinks at you politely.
And I'll get another drink and then just move on to the next group of contractors, mid-level managers.
Sure.
Kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, while you're doing that, Steve, what are you up to?
I'll look for them Alabast guys.
Okay. Alabast is one of the groups that came in later. So they are here now. They have kind of done a similar thing to you guys have done, where they've split up a little bit. You see some of them talking to various mid-level managers. Two of them seem to just be sitting at the bar, like talking to each other, and like you can tell they're kind of listening in on other conversations while they talk. And then there's another one who seems to kind of be trying to get himself in conversations with like the top brass, like Astro was doing.
Okay.
Are any of those Alabast members people you wanted to go try to...
I don't know Tom, Dick, or Harry here from them, so I'm just going to go to the ones, the most grouped up, which is the two at the bar.
The two at the bar, absolutely. You come up on the two at the bar. They can tell you're approaching them, so they raise their drinks kind of in greeting to you as you get there. And immediately, one of the two says to you, doesn't look like you have a drink yet, but you can solve that here. He nods over his shoulder at the bar.
I was hoping to speak with you guys as well.
Good. We're open to chat with some of the other teams. Please, grab your drink and come on over.
All right, I will get some sort of drink, probably just like a beer or something.
Sure.
Then sit down next to him. And I give them the opportunity to ask something or talk first.
Yeah. The one who greeted you go, name's Rushford. That's Donnie. And Donnie nods at you and goes, hey, nice to meet you.
You too. I'm Steve. We didn't have the pleasure before.
Rushford nodded, goes, yeah, we're here because the boss says it's a good opportunity to, get some new jobs. But, hey, always on the lookout for opportunities, too. You guys are doing pretty good in the con test, huh?
Yeah, we're doing all right. I heard you were looking for opportunities earlier. So my boss says, had quite a fun conversation with him.
Yeah, boss is worried we spooked him a little bit. He's used to working with the rougher sort. Maybe your boss is a little bit too prissy.
I wouldn't tell you not to use the word soft.
Donnie laughs too. Well, yes. I'm afraid that he wouldn't get along with the people we used to work with probably very well.
We're not all quite so soft. We can see the humor in things and the justification. We can also, some of us, see allies in people sometimes.
Donnie nods and goes, well, that's good to hear. We're always looking to find a way through hard times. And in the past, that's meant crewing up with, other like-minded groups. There's nothing against it as far as we can tell.
I'll look around to see if anyone else is in earshot or listening to us.
They've done a surprisingly good job at kind of like blocking off a section where like, even though you're in a fairly like loud environment and there are other people around, you can tell that this is like something they're good at. They've kind of brought you into a conversation where you don't think other people are actively listening in.
Okay. What did you learn about that transmission? There's no way it's not connected here.
Donnie lowers her voice a little bit and goes, well, from what I hear, the corporate efforts are running into a little bit of friction with some groups on the station that don't want Project Rebirth, or at least this incarnation of it. I imagine that some of the contracts will be dealing with these nuisances.
Doesn't seem like our employers are too happy about it.
Rushford goes, nah, don't seem like it at all. Far as I can tell, this is a bit embarrassing for them. Whoever is responsible for this part of contest is probably, holding their hat in their hands right now.
We got a little information as well about it. Thought it was a bit strange, so we looked into it, you know?
They both nod, like that makes sense.
Well, found out. Whoever these people are sent the transmission to our bunker, where we keep all our mechs.
Do you have a good examining people check, Kestrel? Body language reading.
Yes, I actually think that's one of the things I'm very good at.
Oh, you do?
Read a situation,
yeah. That's what you should be rolling right now.
Okay. One second. It always takes me a minute to find the pilot stuff in Foundry because it's in a separate area. And here we go. All right. Read a situation. No accuracy.
Not on this, but
Okay.
You've opened the opportunity to see a thing.
Okay. 22.
22. On a success, you can tell that Rushford gives away with his expression, like that he was surprised you would say that. Like he had to stop himself from correcting you. And then he goes, "Oh, really? That's interesting."
Well, is there something else?
Oh, no, I mean, what can you say? These people got their talons in the station. Who knows where they could be sending things to from?
I don't know. Seems awfully concerning, like someone might be trying to get a hold of someone.
Yeah, makes you wonder. Is there anyone here that they'd be trying to get into touch with? If I were anyone else, I would keep a close eye on my ship and my equipment to make sure it's not tampered with.
Yeah, I suppose we all should make sure of that.
And then Donnie volunteers, is like, who knows if they were trying to get hold of some disgruntled dock worker or some sort of elevator technician or something. They could try and off us.
I'm more thinking about how we can use the information to our advantage.
They both nod. Rushford goes, got something in mind?
I don't know. Boss seemed hesitant on it, but I think it's the right call. You know, you have information like this. Keeping it secret and giving it to the right people could be helpful, but I say you just tell everyone all at once that you were the one that found it. The people that need to know, you know? People in charge here. Do it in front of everyone so that you know that you were the one that found it. No one else can dispute it. Extra points. That's what I think.
Donnie looks at you and goes, is that your plan?
See if the boss goes for it or not, but he needs to do it before other people get that information out, I think. So, hopefully soon.
Sounds risky. Think it's worth it?
He's not sure since we got a good standing last time, but I don't know what that stands for. I mean, if we needed the points, maybe we would be more willing to, but I hope he does. I think it's worth it.
They both
We'll see.
look at each other and then look back at you and goes, yeah, good to keep in mind.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hey, when you're talking to your boss, let him know to get in touch with our boss, Freeborn. He's, maybe we can watch each other's backs.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if he's going to want to talk to you guys again, but maybe. I mean, don't take our idea or anything.
They both, give you that kind of, head nod up, we hear ya.
Okay. Well, if you find out anything else, I'm willing to talk. And then I start to get up.
All right. Anything else there, Steve?
Nope. And we'll see if they take the bait.
All right. We will see that. Astro, as you've pivoted from one conversation to another, where do you see yourself now?
Let's see. I'm gonna try to get eyes on Ethic. What's she up to right now?
Ethic is currently in a conversation with a few contractors who seem flustered by something, and you can tell she seems completely unfazed and is talking to them very calmly, but they are you can tell from a distance these are people who are worried about something.
Let me walk over close to where their conversation is taking place, but I'll just be kind of looking around the room, trying to act casual, but get close enough to eavesdrop just a little bit, see what they're talking about.
It seems that they are talking about some missing shipments. They're one of these people is the head of tramway, certain tramway stations, and is listen, I'm telling you, they were all loaded on one station, and when they got to the next station, it was empty. There are no stops in between the first station and the second station. They didn't get jettisoned into outer space, so I don't know where they went. Evic's well, they're not magic. They went somewhere. We're either going to find out where they went, or we're not going to find out where they went. I would prefer the former, but in case of the latter, I want you to do a report that shows how crucial they were, where they were supposed to be, and how we're going to deal with any work stoppages down the line. Understood? Yeah, that makes sense. What did I tell you about panicking? Get to work. He goes, yeah. And then he leaves. And the other person she's talking to is well, that means we're still behind on blah, blah, blah. And they start talking about inbound shipments from other places.
Yeah.
If Ethic notices you nearby, she's going to nod at you.
I'll walk up to her and say, Ethic Desaria? That's her last name, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm from the Murder of Crows, Xander Nova.
One of the contestants, I think the others are calling you. Please, Susie, if you wouldn't mind giving me a little time. I have other duties to attend to. Make sure your report is on my desk by the end of the night. And she nods at Ethic and walks away. Well, Mr. Jamming, it's good to meet you. She reaches out her hand to shake hands.
She said Mr. Jammin'?
No, I'm sorry. That was a Bob mistake. She says Mr. Nova.
That'll definitely influence how I respond to her.
Well, Mr. Nova, it's nice to meet you. And she reaches out her hand to shake.
Likewise.
As you shake hands, she passes something into your hand.
Okay, as we end the handshake, I'll just casually put my hands in my pockets, and I'll drop whatever she passed into my pocket.
Excellent. Should go. Well, I think you've already been around chatting. You seem to be one of the personable sort of contestants. Is it to be understood that you would do well in society should you get one of these contracts?
So I've been told. I've been to a few shindigs like this in the past. I generally know how to behave when the time calls for it.
If I was one of the corporate members of the committee, I might be on the lookout for a team that can blend its way into a event like this and be around when needed. Someone who could be seen and make themselves appear intelligent, so you're not an embarrassment to be seen with should they choose to associate with you frequently.
Noted. That would seem very reasonable.
I myself am finding that this sort of public event is very hard to get real business done, and there's no order to it. I'd rather be in my office right now. She smiles at you. Getting to some other work I had planned. You know, going home after this party and looking over any bits of information I may have been given while at the party would be very important to do right away.
I nod at her and say, I know exactly what you mean.
It seems like you did pretty well in the first stage of contest. I would make sure you stand out only for the right reasons tonight.
As usual, I appreciate the advice that any of the council members can give.
This isn't just advice. This is the only way I really know how to talk to people at these things. Well, I'm done telling you how to do your business, and I should get back to mine. Is there anything you needed from me today, Mr. Nova?
Not at all. I'll let you see to your affairs. It was a pleasure meeting you.
And you as well. Good luck in contest.
Thank you. Okay. Very interesting. Okay, so I don't want to look at what she gave me right away. She did say wait till after the party, I think. So I'll keep it in my pocket for now and play it cool.
All right, sounds good. And with the mystery of what Afik has given you at the party, and you all currently engaged in various conversations, the night is still young. Dinner has not yet been served. Perhaps we should let that stay for the next episode.
What will be for dinner?
What will
Tune
be
in
for
next
dinner?
time.
The main course, so to speak. But we're going to go ahead and call it there, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep, see ya.
Bye.